All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is June 21st. Happy Wednesday to everyone out there. We got a full MLB slate to jump into today. Like we always do, we're going to go into each and every game. I'm going to give you my thoughts. I'll give you my lean or leans on the games, but all my final plays, what I'm actually going to be rolling with, when I'm ultimately pulling the trigger on myself, those will be in the pinned comment. Last night was a little weird. We go 2 and 2. It's good to hit the Orlando Arcia plus 120 hit there for his 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. We also hit Braves money line. They come back and win the game. But just as that comes back and, we get that win, the Rangers and the Padres both blow leads. Rangers climbed back into that game, get a late lead, and then blow it. And then the Padres also had the lead and end up losing it. So a little wonky night there. I guess, it's not going to kill us. 2 and 2 night with a plus money, plus 120 hit there. It ain't all that bad, but nonetheless, guys, we got to do a little bit better than 2 and 2. But let's go ahead and jump into today's slate. Before we do, you guys got to hit that subscribe button. Come on, we're so close to 25,000 subscribers. The fact that we're even close is blowing my mind, but the fact that I'm confident we're going to get there blows my mind even more. So go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, guys. And I want to talk to you guys also about Outlier before we do jump into today's slate. You guys have heard me talk about Outlier in the past, my favorite sports betting research tool. It's so easy for us to consume. Green is good, red is bad. If you can understand that, you can start betting on sports smarter today. You get a 7-day free trial with the link in the description or the pinned comment, guys. And the worst risk you run is thinking that you're going in for 7 days and you're just gonna, not use it ever again. And then all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, this tool is awesome. You're gonna get caught, because I know that's how it works, guys. This thing is so damn cool and so easy to use from both a game picks perspective, a player props perspective. The parlay building aspect of it is absolutely goated. So go check it out. Use the link in the description. I would not push something upon you guys if I didn't use it myself, or if I didn't think it was actually as good as I'm saying. It truly is. Like, cross my fingers, hope to die. Go check it out, Outlier. Link in the description as well as the pinned comment for a 7-day free trial. Game number 1 we're looking at today is going to be Tampa Bay taking on Baltimore. Baltimore gets the win yesterday, and now I almost want to, put some respect on their name, because I've liked Baltimore all year long. I've talked about it. I really like that offense. And Tampa Bay, I really thought that was a bounce back spot for them yesterday. But now you're also going to look at Baltimore in the plus 130s for odds too. I think that's where the value is in this game. So I don't want to even make that really a slight lean, because part of me is thinking, okay, well, the smart play is Baltimore for the plus money, but also the logical play is kind of Tampa Bay. Are they really going to lose 2 in a row? I'm kind of conflicted there, so I'm going to stick away from a side in this game. I know, unfortunate, but I don't want to give you guys a BS lean. I do think that, if I had a gun in my head, I'd pull the trigger on Baltimore as a long shot, maybe a half unit, but I do think Tampa Bay has a great chance of bouncing back today, obviously. But I do like the under in this game, under 8. You got Taj Bradley on the mound, serviceable. And then you have Tyler Wells on the mound, who's been pitching really well for the Orioles here. 8 runs, yes, it's a little low, and yes, we saw an 8-6 run game yesterday. And yeah, both these teams are well capable of going over, like we saw yesterday. But I do think it's a little bit of an overreaction to the line from yesterday. I think this is going to be a good spot for like a 5-2 or a 4-3 type ball game. So I'm going to lean towards the under in this one. That is going to be kind of my official lean on this game. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if it becomes a final play. But yeah, I'm going to look at both these pitchers to kind of go out there and keep the offenses down more than they did, more than they have, I guess, in game number 1 there. Tyler Wells has been pitching some good baseball. And Taj Bradley definitely well within his capabilities to go out there and pitch probably we give him, even if he has a really, really good start where he lasts long, he's going to go 5 innings pitched with a 1.5 whip, maybe 6 Ks. 1 run, and that type of thing we're going to need from him today. So hopefully we get that, because I do think Wells is going to go out there and do his thing. But yeah, I like the under of this game. Let me know in the comments if you do have a play on the side of this game, but I'm just a little bit conflicted and I don't want to BS you guys. And speaking of, let me know in the comments if you do have an absolute lock of a play. Drop that hashtag ride of the day. We're going to get back to it. It's been a couple days since we've done it. All you got to use is hashtag ride of the day and then give me a play in the comments, and I'll be jumping on board with one person's pick in the comments, and you guys get a shout out in the next video, win or loss. So drop that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Let's move on to the next game. We have Miami taking on Toronto. Toronto gets the close victory yesterday. They win it 2-0. So Miami went from scoring 11 runs in game 1 to that many runs in game 2. That is a crazy difference there. They have Sandy Alcantara on the mound for them today, 2-5 with a 5.08 ERA. I've honestly lost all faith in Sandy Alcantara. Gosman on the mound for the Blue Jays, a guy that I have not lost faith in. He is 6-3 with a 3.01 ERA, coming off a nice start against Texas in his last start. 6 innings pitched, 1 whip, 1 earned run, 4 Ks. I think this is going to be a good spot for Toronto here. You're going to get them at -130 over on DraftKings, and the fact that we're getting a Gosman-led Blue Jays team right now for -130, I do think is because Sandy Alcantara is on the mound, and he has the name and obviously the talent, but he's just fadeable right now. So until further notice, I'm really not going to be able to back Sandy Alcantara in any sort of final plays. I think there's value on the Blue Jays side of things. Then we have a total of 7.5 runs. This one is tough, 2-0 yesterday. I can't imagine that they have another really, really low-scoring game. So I'm wanting to lean towards the over, but it'll be just my luck that, Gosman's going to go out there and do what I think he's going to do, and then Alcantara's going to return to like Cy Young form, and it's like, okay, game was 2-0 again type of thing. So I am going to lean towards the over, but I don't think that I make that final play just because I could totally see the talent kind of coming out of both pitchers here, and this is a pitchers type duel. So I do like Toronto in this spot. That's going to be my main lean in this one. All right, we got the Pirates taking on the Cubs. Pirates yet to score a run in this series. They lose game 1 8-0, and they lose yesterday 4-0. That was one of our hits. We'll talk about sleeper in just a second, but we paired Nathan Eovaldi, who we talked about, yesterday, who I obviously like Nathan Eovaldi, and Marcus Stroman in a sleeper pick, and ended up cashing that one, his under and hits. So you like to see that. On the mound for the Pirates today is going to be Rich Hill. He's 6-6 with a 4.42 ERA. Kyle Hendricks on the mound for the Cubs. He's got his last 2 wins here, and he's been looking really good. You're only talking 2 starts removed from an 8 innings pitched, 0.25 whip game with 0 earned runs from him. But Rich Hill, like I said, has been serviceable. I do think it's another spot for the Cubs, and I think you're getting some decent value at -112 here. Kyle Hendricks can pitch really, really well, and like I said, he's been winning as of late. So -112 on the Cubs side of things, who maybe are turning a corner here as they are 8-2 in their last 10 games. Give me them all day long. And then in terms of the total, I'm going to be looking at the over 8.5. Yes, I just gassed up the pitching, but I do still think that this is a Pirates team that has some runs in the tank. They have to, right? Like, they haven't scored a run in 2 games. And in fact, I want to say almost like 3 to the, I wasn't 3 games in a row, 3 to the last 5 games, they have not scored a run. So they got to give you at least like 3 today, right? Meaning if I think this Cubs team is going to go out there and win again, you got to give them at least, 4 or 5 runs. So yeah, I'm going to lean towards the Cubs as well as the over. I think that everybody and their grandmother is going to be on the under. In fact, let's jump into Outlier and we can check that out, and correct. So I was just thinking, okay, let's go ahead and fade the under, right? Or fade the public, I should say. But look at this right here, guys. This is the public betting, 84% of people on the under because of what I just said. The easy thing to think about is, oh my God, they're not going to, how could they even, score a bunch of runs? This Pittsburgh team isn't contributing whatsoever. But look at where the money is. So all the sharps out there and everything like that are looking at the over as well. So I do like to see that. Now, the public is right plenty, right? Like, I don't want to jump down the throat and be like, oh, well, the public says this, so yeah, we can't be right. Like, we're talking almost 50-50 in this industry, so it's not always smart to fade the public, but when there's that big of a discrepancy, I do at least put it in the bank as like okay, I see that and I noticed that. So for what it's worth, there's an example of how we can just use Outlier right away. I'm gonna lean towards the over. All right, Cincinnati taking on Colorado. Cincinnati gets the win yesterday. That is now 10 wins in a row for them. I said yesterday, I was like, there's no way that they just continue to win and never lose and win the World Series. Maybe they do. No, we did think Cincinnati was going to win yesterday, but they are approaching that non-bettable standpoint. They were -200 yesterday. They're -240 today. That is just too much for me to be paying if I am on the Cincinnati side of things. So I do think that they're going to continue to win. I don't think Colorado, is a good team, but I don't really want to jump on board with this bandwagon. Just like that Oakland A's one, right? Told you guys when they were winning those games, I was like, I don't want to jump on board and then all of a sudden that's the game that they lose because I jinx it for everyone that's been betting them. If you've been betting Cincinnati during this win streak, you've actually made plenty of money because they've been underdogs in a few of these games, almost like 50% of these this time game win streak, which is absolutely crazy. But on the mound for them today is going to be Andrew Abbott. He's 3-0, and then going up against Seabold on the mound for the Rockies. I don't think Andrew Abbott's even let up a run yet, which is good, but that's almost like all signs are leading to the Reds, meaning maybe it's the Reds' time and maybe they do catch it out here. So I don't have a win-loss prediction in this game, but I'll tell you right now, I don't think it's valuable to be betting the Reds anymore. In terms of the total, we're looking at 9 runs here. We've seen the Cincinnati team scoring plenty of runs. I guess I'll lean towards the over, and hopefully Colorado can do what they did yesterday and kind of compete with this team so that we can see an over. But yeah, guys, I do think that the Reds are the better team, but minus 240 is just way too much money to be paying on a team that, you know, could just come back down to earth like that. You know what I'm saying? I told you this Detroit and Kansas City series was going to be an instant classic. Yesterday's score of 1-0 in favor of Kansas City. I do think that obviously, you know, we're going to look at Kansas City here at plus 105 because they can win the game. But this is just like yesterday, guys. I'm not going to BS you. If you're betting on this Kansas City-Detroit game and you have a strong stance on it, then you can see, you know, a diamond in the rough because this is a tough series to gauge. I will, however, lean towards the over here. You see how I'm flip-flopping yesterday? I was like, okay, well, I like the under a lot because both these teams stink. 1-0 game. That would have cashed if we made a final play. Today, I'm actually going to be looking at the over because I think that everyone's going to be on the under because yesterday was a 1-0 game. So I'm just going to go back and forth in terms of how these progress because I do think people are going to overreact here. Matthew Boyd on the mound, 4-5 with a 5.88 ERA, and Brady Singer on the mound for the Royals, 4-6 with a 6.33 ERA. Neither one of these pitchers are shy to letting up runs, so I'm going to lean towards the over. It's really my only lean in this game, and that does kind of bum me out because it sucks when you have like a 3-4 game series of two teams that just personally I don't really see the value in or care all that much about. It means every time we get to it for 3 to 4 videos, right? So 3 to 4 days, it's like, here we go again, a boring game, which that's where I'm at. But I do try and tell you guys the truth versus being like, all right, we got Detroit taking on the Royals in this game. We got Brady Singer. Who cares, right? I mean, someone does, but not me all that much. So unfortunately, my only lean in this game is going to be towards the over. Brewers taking on the Diamondbacks. They get the win yesterday. They win that game by a final score of 7-5 in this one. Today they have Julio Teheran on the mound, 2-2 with a 1.78 ERA, and Zach Gallen on the mound for the Diamondbacks. I immediately looked at this game and said under 8. I think that both these pitchers can do their thing and pitch really well. Obviously, we know Zach Gallen, Teheran with less starts on the year, still looking pretty good, not letting up many runs and pitching fairly deep into games as well. This is a tough one because I wanted to go Diamondbacks, but I don't think the Diamondbacks are worthy of 140 here, minus 140, even after the win yesterday. They were underdogs yesterday. Now it's Gallen on the mound. Gallen stepping onto the plate. I don't know if really it makes me comfortable that the line has swung from plus 105 to minus 145. So I am going to lean towards Milwaukee here because I think that there's some value there, plus 124 over on FanDuel right now. But I do like the under more than anything. I wish this was sitting at 8.5. It opened up at 9, moved to 8.5. Now it's at 8. So this thing is moving down very quickly. I don't know if it gets any further down than this, but I wish we could have gotten it at 9 or 8.5 because I do think this is an under spot for both teams. All right, guys, if you've not heard about Sleeper yet, it is seriously time you wake up, no pun intended, and go join Sleeper. It's becoming one of my favorite DFS player prop pick'em type format apps, and I mean that honestly. It's very, very cool. You have the prize picks of the world and all the other ones that, 2 for 2 pays 3 times, or 3 for 3 plays X. It has the structured payout. Well, Sleeper says, nah, let's put a kaput to that. No more structured payouts. Every individual play is going to have odds much like real sports books, and the better, the multiplier on that pick and whatnot, you put them together, you're gonna have a higher payout. So obviously, like we talk about on prize picks, you have a 2 for 2 hit, right? If you're not aware, you put 2 player props together. If you get them both right, you 3 times your money. But on Sleeper, yesterday, we did it. We're an example of it. We had Nathan Eovaldi under 5.5 hits allowed, and Marcus Stroman under 5.5 hits allowed. We cashed both of those for a 3.64 times hit over on Sleeper. So the dynamic payouts are truly what separates Sleeper from the other DFS player prop pick'em apps out there. I highly suggest you go check it out. Obviously, they have the deposit match like everyone else, which is an amazing deal, but I do like how easy Sleeper is to use and how fun it is to use. So go check it out, guys. That link is in the description as well as the pinned comment. I've been using it, and the proof's in the pudding, like I tell you guys all the time. It's probably getting old me saying, but it's still the truth. Like, I'm not going to push something if I don't use it or like it myself. I'm posting Instagram Reels and TikToks daily using Sleeper as of late, so boom. Proof's in the pudding. Go check it out, guys. Get that instant deposit match up to $100. You can use that link or just go sign up and use code GUYBOSSON. Well worth it. Go check it out. It is super, super fun. And at the end of the day, guys, Isn't that kind of what sports betting is all about? Like making sure you are still having fun, paying for that entertainment, win or loss to some degree, right? So go check out Sleeper, guys. Obviously, you got to bet responsibly, but it is a really, really cool app. All right, next game we're moving on to here is going to be Houston taking on the Mets. Houston gets the 4-2 win yesterday. Christian Javier on the mound today for Houston. He's 7-1 with a 2.9 ERA, and Tyler McGill on the mound for the Mets. 6-4 with a 4.83 ERA. You have a total of 8.5 here. Yesterday's total came in at 7.5, and it still went under. I thought it was going to go under as well. Wish we pulled the trigger. We did not. Would have been nice to have that win, but yeah, I think this one's also going to go under here. Does it make the final play? I'm not quite sure. You are seeing a Mets team that, yes, they scored 2 runs yesterday, but prior to that, 2 straight games, 7 runs and 11 runs. So maybe their bats get back to being hot. I don't think so. I'm fading the Mets right now, but I'm also going to fade the pick on the Houston money line here just because it's minus 155, and I don't necessarily think that the pitching difference is that crazy here for it to be that type of a line here. So if anything, I do think that this is a Houston side, so maybe it's a long shot type play, but you look at Houston on the run line. But when Houston's favorites and they're minus 1.5 on the run line, they've only covered that in 3 of their last 10 games. So they've lost it in 7 spots. So you don't really love to see that. So I'm going to lean towards the under more than anything in this game, but I do think Houston kind of continues to have the momentum and kind of holds owns this game, owns this series. So I'm leaning towards Houston minus 1.5, but that is like a lowercase, size 4 font lean. Want to make that clear. I do like the under more than anything in this game. All right, to Cardinals. Washington here. I do think that the Cardinals, obviously the better team. They showed it yesterday. I still think that you're paying too much money for the Cardinals. They're minus 165 today. They were minus 150 in game 1 of the series, but they win. Then they were minus 145. I told you the same exact thing, but they win. I do still think that that's an overpriced line, but this Cardinals team is playing good baseball, and they're still playing the same team that they're playing from yesterday. They have Miles Mikolas on the mound today. He's an type of guy in my brain. 4-4 with a 4.36 ERA. Williams on the mound for the Nationals. He is a little bit worse than in my brain. 3-4 with a 4.5 ERA. Coming off a start in which didn't look all that great from 4 1/3 pitched with 5 earned runs, a 2.3 whip, and 2 strikeouts. Compared to a Mikolas who went 6 innings pitched with 6 earned runs, a 1.5 whip, and 1 strikeout. So I'm looking at the over here. That's where my brain goes to. Neither one of these pitchers on a roll whatsoever. And let's just see some of the bats come alive like they were in game 1. That was an 8-6 game. Let's not forget. Yesterday, still would have hit the over, but it really took the Cardinals, controlling all the run support there, and that one to hit the over. I think this one comes back down, or they don't come back down, but Washington kind of rises to the occasion again, and we're looking at another game that's more of like an 8-6, 8-5, 7-5 type ball game. So I'm going to lean towards the over in this one, not because I think the bats are all that hot, but I do think these pitchers have blow-up potential. And then in terms of a side here, I'm going to look at St. Louis. Minus 165 isn't really going to entertain me in terms of the final play, but I do think that they are the clear-cut better team here, if I'm being completely honest. All right, Philadelphia taking on Atlanta. We did not cruise to that victory yesterday very easily. Atlanta did have to come back, and once they did kind of get the lead, they got it going. But yeah, at first it didn't exactly look like they were going to get that win. They do end up winning 4-2, though. Like I said, they go down, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, they got this. A 4-2 victory there. Spencer Strider already went 6 innings pitched, and Atlanta has now won 7 games in a row. I think this one's going to be in a similar ballpark. I do think I'm still going to lean towards Atlanta. They have AJ Smith-Schuyer on the mound today, 1-0 with a 2.03 ERA. I want to make it clear that I'm not really backing him. I don't have a strong stance on him, if I'm being honest, but I'm not really backing him. I'm more or less backing how well this Atlanta team has been playing. 4 runs yesterday is like the lowest runs they've scored in, you're probably dating back to 2 weeks or so now. So you are looking at a team that has hot bats. Now, Philly, they're hot as well, but the offense isn't as hot. So I'm going to lean towards Atlanta yet again. You're going to get plus money odds on them today. If we were looking at, a team that was minus 150 again today, this is where I would kind of draw the line. Like, I don't think I would pull the trigger on that because I was really backing Spencer Strider in the Braves yesterday. I'm not going to back AJ Smith-Schuyer and the Braves to that degree, right? But you have them at plus money, so that's very important. We're getting one of the better teams and hotter teams in the league right now at plus money. Yeah, I'm going to look at that. I also don't hate them plus 1.5 in some sort of a parlay because they are the underdog when it comes to run line today. The odds there like minus 175 to minus 180, so that's not a singles worthy play for me or an individual bet worthy play, but I still think that Atlanta can win this game, and the fact that we're getting some plus money does tempt me. So keep an eye on the pinned comment to see what we do, but I want to make sure it makes sense to you guys, or at least my dumb thought process is kind of said out loud, because this isn't me backing the Braves like I was yesterday. Yesterday I was like, I'm in on this team. They have this stud on the mound and they're a good team. Today they have a lesser pitcher on the mound, but you're getting plus money. So that's where I'm identifying the value. Then in terms of the total 9 runs, I do think that both these offenses are well capable of scoring, but when you have two, I don't want to call them titans, but two really good teams playing, like this Phillies team is very hot as well. I feel like these games are starting to go under as we're getting, further into the season. So, pitchers are starting to learn batters halfway through the game, that type of thing. So I'm going to lean towards the under, but again, my biggest lean in this game is going to be towards the Braves for plus 105 over on DraftKings right now. I think it's great value. All right, Yankees taking on Seattle, another game that we just had pegged perfectly in my leans yesterday, but didn't make a final play. And that's what, the format, how we do the videos. Obviously, I love talking about each and every game. That's why we do it for both, MLB and NFL and NBA, because I do like going through each game and at least giving my thoughts or talking about it or hearing you guys out on it, right? But then I'm looking back and I'm like, I wish we could count some of the days as, towards our record and towards our winnings when we lean towards things, because we were all over this game yesterday, finishing at a Yankees win of 3-1. Garrett Cole on the mound does his job, and so did George Kirby, honestly. Today on the mound for the Yankees, we have Johnny Brito. He's 3-3 with a 5.58 ERA. Luis Castillo on the mound for the Mariners here, 4-5 with a 2.73 ERA. When I saw the matchup here and I saw the pitching matchup, I was like, all right, I'm going to be all over Seattle. I think this is a bounce back spot for them. And I do think it is. I do think that Seattle gets the win today. I did not anticipate seeing this line when it opened up at Seattle minus 196 on the money line. That was a little, alarming to me. And then I'm like, what the hell? Now it's kind of come back down to earth. It's minus 170, still a little bit too much juice to be paying, if you ask me. But I do think this is a Seattle spot. I think that they win this game today. I'm also going to take a peek at the under again, 7.5. Super low. I understand it. I still do think that this is a game in which we're looking at maybe like it's 7.5, maybe 4-3 at the very maximum, which it better be, because that is pushing right up against winning that under by a half point. But I like the under here as well as Seattle, but I wish we had better odds on Seattle. That kind of bums me out. All right, we're 21 minutes into the video. If only we did a thing on this channel every now and then that if you were a certain amount of minutes into the video, you as the viewers and the community and the OGs knew what to comment. So we're at 21 minutes in the video. I wonder what you guys should comment 21 minutes into the video. Wink, wink, nod, nod, nudge, nudge. Guys, thank you if you are still watching. It does mean the world. You are the real ones. So you know what to comment if you are watching and you're a daily watcher here at 21 minutes in the video. But let's move on here. We got Cleveland taking on Oakland. I think I just said on, but it's a new word. Cleveland gets a 3-2 win. Yesterday we did cash our prize picks play there. Aaron Savale under 5.5 hits allowed. He finished at 5, so that's kind of lucky. I think we also had a slip with him at 5, so that pushed. But nonetheless, guys, Guardians here, heavy favorites at minus 174, but honestly not as heavy as I originally would have thought. I am going to lean towards Cleveland here. This Oakland team obviously ain't the best. Cleveland hasn't been playing all that well. They've only won, I think it was 4 out of their last 9 games. At least I have that in my notes, but I don't know if that is correct now that I'm looking back on it, because I know they've won 2 straight here. But nonetheless, guys, I do still think it's a Cleveland spot. Minus 174, a lot to be paying, but I do think that this Oakland team is fadeable. Totally on the mound today for Cleveland. We don't know yet, which is unfortunate, but still, that might be why we have decent odds in them right now. Blackburn on the mound for the Athletics. I don't fear him whatsoever. But again, when the A's are involved in the game, just like we talked about Kansas City and Detroit, I do feel bad kind of giving my I don't really care type lean on this game, but I just do want to cover the game still. So if you guys don't mind that some games going to have less energy or pizzazz than others, just by way of me not being interested in the game or finding an edge in the game as much. It kind of is what it is at this point, but I lean towards the Guardians as well as the under 8 runs here in this one, but both those are very slight leans. I don't envision them being final plays. All right, Twins taking on the Red Sox. I told you guys yesterday, I got to lean towards the Twins, right? Talk about a game in which I didn't really see coming. Twins go out there and score 10 runs. Red Sox go out there and score 10 runs. They're absolutely crushing it, and they get the win there. I guess I did kind of predict my own fate there. We didn't make it a final play, but I said I'm leaning towards the Twins while knowing the Red Sox can score 1,000,000 runs. So I guess we were right there, but the lean was not correct. Sonny Gray on the mound for the Twins today, 4-1 with a 2.25 ERA. Garrett Willock on the mound for the Red Sox here. I think this is the Twins spot. They've lost, 2 straight in this series now. The Red Sox are just dominating them or dog walking them. It's like, no, don't poop on the corner, poop over here. We're going to tell you where to go to the bathroom. It's crazy right now. So I do think that, having Gray on the mound against Whitlock, who obviously Whitlock has had plenty of good starts, most notably a couple of them in a row here. He's gotten 2 wins in a row, one against the Yankees, which I give him more credit for than his next win, but that was 6 1/3 pitched with 1 earned run and a 1.26 whip on 6 Ks. Next game kind of looks better on paper probably, but he was playing the Colorado Rockies. He had 7 Ks, 1 whip through 7 innings, only 2 earned runs, but nonetheless, he's been pitching well. But Sonny Gray is the better pitcher, so I'm going to lean towards that today. Minus 130 on Minnesota. They got to pull out one here in this, and I'm a Red Sox fan, so I watch more Red Sox than probably any other team in the league, and I kind of sense that this is sort of the fall-off spot for them. They have won 6 in a row, 7 of their last 8. One loss here isn't going to kill the Red Sox or the momentum they're building, but I do think that Sonny Gray on the mound is going to be able to control them today. So I'm going to lean towards the Twins here. I'm also going to kind of hedge my lean and lean towards the over because this Red Sox team is kind of approaching that territory of maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe it doesn't matter who's pitching. Maybe it doesn't matter who's trotted out there. They're just scoring a bunch of runs like they were at the beginning of the year. So I'm going to lean towards the Twins as well as the over. Only one of those is probably going to make it into the final plays because, in my opinion, they kind of clash with each other. If this is going to be over, it means the Red Sox scored a lot of runs again. So if I had to rank them, Twins, money line, and then the over 8.5 in this one. All right, White Sox taking on Texas. Like I said, Texas ends up choking it up yesterday. Michael Kopech on the mound for the White Sox. So he's 3-5 with a 3.92 ERA. And you have the Rangers trying out Martin Perez, 6-3 with a 4.54 ERA. He looked good last start. The start before that, it was against Tampa Bay. Did not look good, but the start before that looked really good. So Perez, I think I'm willing to throw out that terrible Tampa Bay start. I'm going to lean towards Texas to bounce back in this spot. Michael Kopech, though, I do want to give credit where it's due. He's been pitching really well. Now, he's getting a little wild. The whip has been up there in some games, but nonetheless, he's not allowing many runs, and he's had some tough competition on the season. So I want to give credit where it is due. He's not getting much run support either, so his numbers look, one, a little inflated, and 2, like, deflated on the record side of things. So I will say, if it wasn't Perez, I guess there are a bunch of guys on this text, whether it's Perez, Evaldi, or whatever. There are guys that I would consider better pitchers than Kopech in this series, but I do still want to give credit to Kopech. It just happens to be a day today where I think there's a better pitcher on the other side. So I'm going to lean towards Texas. We have a total of 9.5 runs. I'm kind of split down the middle on this one. We saw 7-6 yesterday. Obviously, the offenses are kind of cooking. Chicago going out there and scoring 7 runs puzzled me, surprised me. But 9.5 runs, do I think Texas can go out there and give you, 8 and make this, really sweaty type of under? Possibly, but I'm still going to lean towards the under, guys. I think this is going to be a big win for Texas here. Much like, game 1, 5-1, 5-2 type game. I think that's what we see again today. All right, guys, in the last 2 games on the slate, we don't have odds for yet because we're awaiting some pitchers, but we can go through them kind of quickly. Before we do, guys, I want to talk about some merch that we have on the store. The Let's Ride hat is out now as well, and it is an amazing way to support me, support the channel. Use that link in the description. I'll put that in the pinned comment as well for your ease, guys, but you can use promo code FADE, F-A-D-E. You'll save 10% off your purchase. Just go browse. There's plenty of stuff out there, some cool gambling, sports betting type shirts. If you're a Boston fan, we have plenty of that on the website as well. Go check it out, guys. Check out the merch store. You can even just go to GuyBostonSports.com/store. But in terms of this game, the Battle of the LAs, yesterday's game doesn't really go too far from what we expected. 2-0 game, excuse me. The Dodgers get the win. I will say, I think that this is the type of Angels team right now, the way that they've been playing, and they have been playing well, that they kind of go back and forth, and you do have Shohei Ohtani on the mound for them today. So depending on who the Dodgers trot out, I do kind of initially lean towards the Angels because they have Ohtani on the mound. It will be interesting to see who gets a start. I don't really know who's up for them or anything like that, but nonetheless, I'm going to lean towards the Angels right now. We don't have odds. I assume they'll be underdogs in this one, so we shall see. Yesterday, the Angels came in at +120. Even with Ohtani on the mound, depending on who they start, it's probably going to be around a pick 'em or whatever. If the Angels are heavily favorites, I'm probably going to stick away. In terms of the total, we don't have that either. Yesterday was an 8.5 total. We leaned towards the under. It was an under. I'm going to do the same exact thing today. in our last game on the slate, we do have some money line here. We do actually have an updated total now that I'm looking at it. So San Francisco plus 105 on the money line, and the total is sitting at 8 runs. But the reason, we don't have any lines is just kind of, I guess it's early in the day when we screenshotted this. But on the mound for the Giants today, we have Walker, only one game this season. And then we have Yu Darvish on the mound for the Padres. It's got to be a Padres type game, right? They blew it yesterday, lost it for us. This San Francisco team is still cruising along. It's got to be Padres type spot. I think that the San Francisco win streak is up today. But I said that yesterday, so you can always fade me if you think I'm an idiot, which I'm a dummy plenty. Then in terms of the total, 8 runs. Yesterday's game finishes 4-3, but that was not like San Francisco. San Francisco had been scoring a bunch of runs, so I expect this to be a little more high scoring, especially from the Padres side of things, going up against this pitcher on the Giants side of things against Ryan Walker. So I do like the Padres in this spot. Minus 125, I'll take those odds as well as the over. Guys, and that is all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and as always, we'll catch you guys in the next video, all right? Peace out.